Have you ever felt truly disconnected, as if the world was spinning on a different axis, leaving you behind in a quiet, unchanging space? Imagine a life defined by the vast, open expanse of the Texas countryside, where the rhythm of existence is dictated by the sun's arc, the lowing of cattle, and the endless dusty horizon. This is the world of Jacob Stevens, a rancher whose days have long been a testament to solitude. His hands, weathered and strong, have tilled the same soil for decades, his gaze fixed on a landscape that offers comfort in its familiarity, but also whispers of profound isolation. Jacob's ranch house, a sentinel against the elements, has witnessed countless sunrises and sunsets, each one mirroring the quiet, unchanging routine of his life. He is a man of the land, rooted deeply in its traditions, yet his heart carries the quiet ache of loneliness, a silent companion in the vastness. The world outside, with its dizzying pace of technological advancement and bustling human activity, feels like a distant galaxy, its lights barely visible from his secluded corner of the universe. The simple act of connecting with another soul, of sharing a moment beyond the necessary interactions of commerce, has become a rare and precious commodity in his life. Then, one day, the unimaginable happens. The drone of a distant engine, not the familiar rumble of a pickup truck or farm machinery, grows steadily louder, cutting through the stillness of the Texas air. It's a sound alien to Jacob's world, sleek and almost silent, culminating in an elegant hum that settles outside his gate. A vehicle, unlike any he has ever seen, glides to a stop, a futuristic marvel, a Tesla Model Y, its contours reflecting the wide open sky. From it emerges a team of individuals, impeccably dressed, led by a figure instantly recognizable even to Jacob, whose exposure to modern media is minimal: Elon Musk himself. The scene is so surreal, so utterly out of place, that Jacob can only stare, his mind grappling with the possibility that he has either fallen into a vivid dream or is the subject of an elaborate, bewildering prank. Musk, the visionary behind electric vehicles and space exploration, stands on Jacob's dusty driveway, a stark contrast to the rustic surroundings. He explains, with a surprising earnestness, that he has followed Jacob's story, a narrative of quiet resilience, of a life lived authentically off the land, not for public acclaim or material gain, but for the inherent value of hard work and a deep, abiding connection to nature. This man, who has built empires on innovation and disruption, has been moved by the simplicity and perseverance of a rancher who embodies a different kind of strength. The gesture he offers is monumental, almost unbelievable: a brand new Tesla Model Y, a symbol of the very future Jacob has lived apart from, now presented as a gift. Jacob, a man who has always measured worth in sweat and honest labor, for whom the idea of receiving something so extravagant without earning it is fundamentally foreign, is left utterly speechless. The sleek vehicle, a beacon of advanced technology, sits waiting, a silent challenge to every notion he has held about his place in the world, about the chasm between his life and the modern age. This act of unexpected kindness, bridging a seemingly insurmountable social and technological divide, forces him to confront a new reality. As he tentatively approaches the cutting-edge machine, its touchscreen glowing softly, he feels a profound mix of overwhelming gratitude, humbling confusion, and a quiet sense of bewilderment. What does one do with such a thing? How does one, accustomed to horsepower of a different kind, navigate this electric beast? This pivotal moment marks the beginning of an extraordinary journey, not just for Jacob, but for anyone who hears his story. It's a powerful testament to the unexpected connections that can form between the most unlikely of individuals, a narrative woven with threads of shock, deep gratitude, and profound introspection. It reminds us that even the most isolated lives can be touched by acts of generosity, that the world often holds surprises when we least expect them, and that kindness, in its purest form, can transcend all perceived barriers. Jacob's life, once a predictable loop, is poised for transformation, not merely because of the car, but because of the profound realization that no matter how alone one might feel, threads of connection are always waiting to be discovered, and kindness has an uncanny ability to appear precisely when it is most needed. As he prepares to venture out in his new Tesla, exploring a world that once felt so distant, Jacob Stevens, the reclusive rancher, stands at the precipice of a new chapter, one filled with unforeseen possibilities and the boundless hope that genuine compassion can indeed bring about the most unexpected and profound changes. The concept of isolation, particularly in the modern era, is a fascinating paradox. While technology promises to connect us more than ever before, enabling instant communication across continents and fostering vast digital communities, it can also paradoxically deepen the sense of individual solitude. For someone like Jacob, living in the literal and figurative frontier, this wasn't just a feeling, it was a lived reality. His chosen path, deeply rooted in a traditional way of life, represents a conscious or unconscious rejection of the relentless march of progress that defines much of contemporary society. Historically, human communities were built on proximity and shared labor, fostering an inherent sense of belonging. The advent of industrialization, urbanization, and later, the digital age, gradually eroded these close-knit structures. People moved away from their ancestral lands. Careers replaced community ties as primary identifiers, and eventually, screens began to mediate an increasing proportion of our interactions. Jacob's story, in this context, serves as a poignant reminder of a time when self-sufficiency was paramount and human connection, while perhaps less frequent, was often more profound in its directness. The arrival of Elon Musk, a titan of this very technological revolution, at Jacob's humble ranch, thus becomes a symbolic bridge, a moment where two disparate worlds, often seen as diametrically opposed, suddenly converge. It highlights the often overlooked truth that even those at the forefront of innovation can recognize and value the fundamental human need for connection and the quiet dignity found in lives lived simply, far from the digital noise. This interaction is not just about a car. It's about the acknowledgement of shared humanity across vast socio-economic and lifestyle divides, an unexpected act of recognition that transcends the usual transactional nature of modern life. It forces us to question our assumptions about progress and tradition, and to consider where true value lies in a rapidly changing world. The roots of this specific gesture, while seemingly spontaneous, tap into a deeper wellspring of philanthropic impulse, a desire to impact individual lives in a meaningful way, moving beyond grand, impersonal donations to a direct, personal act of kindness. At the heart of this unfolding narrative lies the Tesla Model Y itself, a marvel of modern engineering and a potent symbol of the future. This isn't just any car. It represents the cutting edge of automotive technology, embodying principles of sustainability, efficiency, and advanced connectivity. Its electric powertrain means silent operation, a stark contrast to the roar of a traditional combustion engine, and its instant torque provides a driving experience unlike anything Jacob has ever known. Beyond its mechanical prowess, the Model Y is a rolling computer, equipped with a large central touchscreen that controls everything from navigation to climate and, crucially, provides access to over-the-air software updates, continuously improving the vehicle's capabilities over time. For Jacob, a man accustomed to the tactile, mechanical world of ranching, this interface represents a steep learning curve, a leap into a digital ecosystem that is inherently intuitive for younger generations, but potentially alienating for someone outside that sphere. Yet, this very complexity is part of the gift's profound impact. It forces Jacob to engage with the modern world on its own terms, to learn new paradigms, and to bridge the technological gap that has widened around him. The act of giving such a sophisticated machine isn't merely about transportation. It's about empowerment, about offering a tool that can open up new possibilities, reduce distances, and connect him to services and people he previously had limited access to. This gesture from a figure like Elon Musk also speaks to the nature of modern philanthropy. It's not just about financial aid. It's about strategic gifting, about leveraging resources and influence to make a tangible, life-altering difference. For an individual, it transforms a simple act of charity into a powerful statement about human connection, demonstrating that even those who operate on a global scale can find inspiration in the quiet dignity of a solitary life. The Tesla, therefore, becomes more than a vehicle. It becomes a catalyst for change, a symbol of unexpected benevolence, and a bridge between two vastly different realities. The broader implications of such an unexpected act of generosity extend far beyond the immediate exchange of a vehicle. This story resonates because it taps into fundamental human desires, the longing for connection, the hope for unexpected kindness, and the universal appreciation for authentic gestures. In a world often characterized by cynicism and transactional relationships, an event like this serves as a powerful counter-narrative, reminding us of the capacity for genuine altruism. It prompts us to consider how individual acts of kindness, particularly from figures of global prominence, can ripple through society, inspiring others to look beyond their immediate circles and consider the impact they can have on seemingly distant lives. For Jacob, the gift of the Tesla is not just about mobility. It's about a profound shift in his perception of his place in the world. It shatters the illusion of his complete isolation, revealing that even in the vastness of the Texas countryside, his story was seen, his quiet resilience acknowledged. This acknowledgement, far more than the car itself, is the true gift. It validates his life, his choices, and his enduring spirit. Moreover, this interaction highlights the evolving role of technology in bridging societal divides. While technology is often critiqued for fostering disconnection, here it becomes the very medium of connection and transformation. The Model Y, with its advanced features, offers Jacob the means to reconnect with the world on new terms, to access information, services, and perhaps even communities that were previously out of reach. It challenges the notion that traditional ways of life must remain separate from modern advancements, suggesting instead a potential for integration and mutual benefit. This narrative also subtly explores themes of wealth and value. Elon Musk, a symbol of immense material wealth and technological prowess, chooses to bestow a gift that, while valuable, is fundamentally about human connection, about recognizing the inherent worth of an individual, regardless of their economic standing or societal influence. It prompts a re-evaluation of what constitutes true richness in life, suggesting that genuine human connection and acts of selfless generosity hold a currency far more enduring than financial assets. The story, therefore, becomes a mirror, reflecting our own hopes for a more compassionate and interconnected world. However, any story of such dramatic convergence between disparate worlds inevitably invites scrutiny and exposes underlying challenges or common misconceptions. One immediate question that arises is the practicality of gifting a high-tech electric vehicle to someone like Jacob, who has lived largely off-grid and is unfamiliar with modern technology. There's the challenge of charging infrastructure. In remote areas, the learning curve associated with a complex touchscreen interface and the potential maintenance needs of a sophisticated machine. This isn't just about handing over keys. It's about integrating a new lifestyle tool into a deeply ingrained routine. There's also the potential for skepticism. Was this a calculated public relations move by a company known for its unconventional marketing, or a genuinely spontaneous act of kindness? While the emotional impact of the story leans towards the latter, the realities of public perception and corporate image are always at play. It challenges the myth that individuals of immense wealth are inherently detached or solely driven by profit. While commercial interests are undeniable, such gestures remind us that human empathy can transcend even the most rigid corporate structures. Another misconception this narrative addresses is the idea that traditional ways of life are inherently resistant to or incompatible with modern technology. Jacob's initial bewilderment is real, but the story suggests a potential for adaptation and growth, demonstrating that even those deeply rooted in tradition can find value and utility in technological advancements, provided the bridge is built with care and genuine intent. Furthermore, it combats the notion that isolation is always a chosen state, implying that for many, it can be a consequence of circumstance or a lack of accessible pathways to connection. The Tesla, in this context, becomes a symbol of overcoming these barriers, offering a tangible means to reconnect. The complexities of this gift lie not just in the vehicle itself, but in the profound shift it demands from Jacob, challenging his established comfort zones and opening him to a world he had long considered separate from his own. It's a powerful illustration of how even the most well-intentioned acts can come with their own set of adjustments and learning curves, highlighting the nuanced reality of bridging technological and social divides. In the vast tapestry of human experience, where the threads of isolation and connection, tradition and innovation often seem irrevocably separate, Jacob Stevens' story stands as a vibrant, unexpected knot. It began with the quiet hum of a lonely rancher's life, a testament to resilience amidst solitude, and culminated in the silent arrival of a futuristic marvel delivered by a titan of the modern age. This wasn't merely the exchange of a car. It was a profound collision of worlds, a moment where the seemingly insurmountable chasm between the past and the future, between quiet simplicity and technological grandeur, was unexpectedly bridged. By an act of pure, unadulterated kindness, Jacob's journey, from bewildered recipient to cautious explorer of his new reality, is a powerful reminder that human connection can manifest in the most surprising ways, transcending socio-economic divides, geographical distances, and even the stark contrasts of lifestyle. It challenges us to look beyond the obvious, to question our assumptions about who connects with whom, and to recognize the inherent value in every individual story, no matter how humble or isolated it may seem. The Tesla, initially a symbol of overwhelming technological complexity, gradually transforms into a vessel of newfound freedom and opportunity, allowing Jacob to reconnect with the land he loves on new terms and to explore a world he had long abandoned. It underscores the profound truth that generosity, when offered with genuine intent, possesses an almost magical ability to unlock possibilities, to mend forgotten ties, and to ignite a sense of hope where none existed before. As we reflect on Jacob's unexpected journey, we are left with a lingering question. How many other Jacobs exist in the quiet corners of our world, waiting for an unexpected knock, a surprising gesture, to remind them that they are seen, valued, and connected? This story is more than just a heartwarming tale. It is an invitation to cultivate our own curiosity, to seek out the hidden connections, and to believe in the transformative power of kindness, reminding us that the most profound changes often begin with the most unexpected acts of human compassion. The profound shock of Elon Musk's unexpected visit and the gift of the Tesla Model Y initiated far more than a simple change in Jacob Stevens' mode of transportation. It triggered a seismic shift in his very identity. For decades, his self-perception had been inextricably linked to the rugged simplicity of his rancher's life. The calloused hands, the dust-caked boots, the rhythm dictated by livestock and seasons. He was Jacob, the reclusive man of the land. Now, suddenly, he was Jacob, the recipient of a futuristic marvel from a global icon, A man thrust into an entirely new narrative. This wasn't merely about learning to drive an electric vehicle. It was about reconciling the man he had always been with the man he was becoming in the eyes of others, and perhaps in his own evolving self-assessment. The internal landscape of his mind, once as predictable as his sprawling pastures, became a turbulent terrain where deep-seated values clashed with an unforeseen reality. Could he still be the same Jacob, the stoic rancher, while navigating a touchscreen interface and silently gliding across the very same dusty roads that once echoed with the rumble of his old pickup? This existential question, though unspoken, began to shape his days, adding a layer of introspection to his routine that had never been present before. Furthermore, the ripple effect of this extraordinary event extended beyond Jacob's personal psyche, touching the fabric of his sparse local community. News, even in the most remote corners, possesses an uncanny ability to travel, often embellished. With each retelling, how would his few neighbors, accustomed to his solitary ways, and perhaps sharing a similar skepticism towards the fast-paced modern world, react to this sudden dramatic shift in his circumstances? Would it foster admiration, perhaps even a sense of pride in one of their own being recognized by such a prominent figure? Or would it breed suspicion, envy, or a quiet resentment towards the perceived disruption of their established social order? Such a monumental gift could inadvertently create a chasm between Jacob and those who had previously understood his life's quiet cadence. The sight of a sleek, silent Tesla parked outside his rustic ranch house, a beacon of alien technology in a landscape defined by tradition, was bound to ignite conversations, speculations, and perhaps a subtle re-evaluation of their long-held perceptions of Jacob and his place among them. This external scrutiny, however benign or curious, added another dimension to Jacob's adjustment, compelling him to navigate not just a new vehicle, but also a newly altered social terrain. Consequently, while the Tesla was undeniably a gift of immense value, it also presented an unexpected psychological burden. The freedom it offered was immense, yet it came with an implicit demand for adaptation. Jacob, a master of self-reliance, now faced a steep learning curve that challenged his comfort zone in unprecedented ways. The sophisticated charging routines, the intricate navigation systems, the constant stream of digital information, all these elements required a mental engagement far removed from the intuitive, tactile world he inhabited. This wasn't a simple upgrade. It was an immersion into a new technological paradigm, potentially leading to moments of frustration or a feeling of being overwhelmed by the sheer novelty of it all. Moreover, the very act of receiving such a public and high-profile gift could introduce an element of unwanted attention. A man who had deliberately cultivated a life of reclusion might suddenly find himself the subject of curiosity, perhaps even visits from strangers or media inquiries. The peaceful anonymity he cherished could be irrevocably compromised, adding a subtle weight to the generosity he had received. This illustrates a crucial point about profound life interventions. While intended to uplift, they can also inadvertently introduce new forms of stress and adjustment, requiring a different kind of resilience from the recipient. Building on this, the gift undoubtedly prompted Jacob to reevaluate his life's purpose and his long-held beliefs about contentment. For years, his happiness was derived from the tangible realities of his ranch, the quiet satisfaction of a hard day's work, and the profound connection to the land. Material possessions held little sway. Now, confronted with an object symbolizing the pinnacle of modern material achievement, did he question the simplicity he had embraced? Did the sudden access to a wider world, once dismissed as distant and irrelevant, begin to subtly shift his priorities? This internal dialogue, a silent debate between his past self and his potential future, represented a profound philosophical challenge. It wasn't about rejecting his old life, but rather integrating this new, unexpected dimension into his understanding of what constitutes a fulfilling existence. The Tesla became a mirror, reflecting possibilities he had never considered, forcing him to confront whether his previous contentment was a choice or a limitation. This process of re-evaluation, while potentially disorienting, also held the promise of profound personal growth, urging him to define happiness anew within a broadened horizon of experience. Another crucial layer to consider is the nature of such a powerful external intervention into a seemingly complete, albeit lonely, life. When a figure of Elon Musk's stature, representing vast wealth and technological power, reaches into the life of an individual like Jacob, it raises broader questions about agency and destiny. Was Jacob's solitude a problem to be solved, or a chosen path that, despite its loneliness, held its own integrity? Does such an intervention save him from a perceived emptiness, or does it simply disrupt a carefully constructed equilibrium, however solitary? This philosophical quandary highlights the ethical complexities inherent in acts of grand philanthropy, particularly when they dramatically alter an individual's established way of life. While undoubtedly benevolent in intent, the act carries the inherent power to redefine the recipient's reality, prompting a renegotiation of their boundaries, their comfort zones, and their very aspirations. This wasn't merely an act of charity. It was a profound, almost cosmic, rearrangement of Jacob's personal universe, compelling him to grapple with a destiny he had not foreseen, and to forge a new path that balanced his deep-seated values with the unforeseen gifts of a dramatically altered present. Reflecting on this narrative journey, we've traversed a landscape where profound solitude once held sway, its contours shaped by the rhythms of an unyielding earth. Into this deeply rooted existence, an unexpected current surged, bringing with it a beacon from a realm previously perceived as distant, almost mythical. This confluence, a meeting of worlds thought to be irreconcilable, began to unravel long-held assumptions about boundaries, both physical and conceptual. It wasn't merely the introduction of an object. It was the imbrication of a radically different paradigm into a life defined by its very antithesis. The initial jolt, the sheer improbability of such an encounter, set in motion a series of reverberations far beyond the immediate moment of exchange, inviting us to ponder the very nature of connection when it arises from the most unlikely of sources. This singular artifact, a testament to human ingenuity and foresight, became more than a mere conveyance. It emerged as a potent symbol, not just of technological prowess, but of an unforeseen bridge across vast experiential divides. Its presence challenged a life meticulously crafted around self-sufficiency and the absence of modern conveniences, demanding a recalibration of ingrained habits and a forging of new proficiencies. Yet, in this demand for adaptation lay an implicit offer, an opening to horizons previously unimagined, a quiet invitation to redefine the very parameters of engagement with the wider world. The act, seemingly simple in its offering, thus became a catalyst for a complex internal dialogue, stirring questions about identity and the fluid nature of one's place within a rapidly evolving societal tapestry. It began to subtly reshape not only how one might move through the physical world, but how one might perceive their own standing within it, and how others might, in turn, perceive them. As these intricate layers unfolded, a deeper understanding began to coalesce regarding the essence of true value and the multifaceted expressions of generosity. Beyond the quantifiable worth of the gift, its profound impact lay in its capacity to illuminate the often overlooked currents of human empathy and recognition. In an era frequently characterized by the transactional and the impersonal, this particular instance served as a resonant counterpoint, showcasing a different kind of currency, one measured in acknowledgement, in unexpected outreach, and in the quiet dignity afforded to an individual life. It prompted a collective introspection on what genuinely enriches the human spirit, suggesting that the most meaningful exchanges often transcend material considerations, rooting themselves instead in the surprising capacity for compassion that resides within us all. This interplay between the tangible and the intangible, between a grand gesture and its deeply personal resonance, continued to weave a compelling narrative, subtly redefining the contours of what it means to be seen and understood in an increasingly complex world. Drawing these interwoven threads together, we find ourselves at a vantage point where the initial stark contrasts have begun to soften, revealing a richer, more nuanced landscape. The narrative, initially framed by a profound sense of isolation and a dramatic intervention, has expanded to encompass universal themes of adaptation, connection, and the surprising pathways through which life's most transformative moments often arrive. It has invited us to consider how our own perspectives might shift when confronted with the unexpected, and how the very fabric of our perceived realities can be restitched with threads of unforeseen kindness. The journey, therefore, transitions from a specific event to a broader contemplation of human resilience, the enduring power of empathy, and the continuous unfolding of possibility. As we prepare to pivot towards a final reflection, let us carry the weight of these insights, allowing them to inform our understanding of how profound shifts, even those initiated by external forces, ultimately become deeply internalized catalysts for growth. As the dust settles on Jacob Stevens' Texas ranch, and the quiet hum of an electric motor replaces the familiar drone of older machinery, we are left not just with a heartwarming tale of an unexpected gift, but with a profound meditation on the very fabric of human existence. This narrative transcends the simple act of giving, revealing how true connection can blossom in the most seemingly infertile grounds of isolation, and how the boundaries we erect between tradition and progress, between the vastness of wealth and the quiet dignity of a solitary life, are far more permeable than we often imagine. Jacob's journey is a powerful testament to the idea that even in a world increasingly defined by digital noise and rapid change, the fundamental human yearning for recognition, for belonging, and for kindness remains an enduring and potent force. It underscores that sometimes the most revolutionary acts are not those that redefine industries, but those that quietly, profoundly redefine a single human life. The arrival of the Tesla, a symbol of cutting-edge innovation at Jacob's rustic doorstep, was more than a transactional exchange. It was a symbolic convergence, a moment where the future reached back to embrace the past. For Jacob, a man whose hands were accustomed to the earth's raw materials and whose days were governed by ancient rhythms, this sleek machine represented a leap across not just technological, but also psychological centuries. It forced him to confront the limits of his comfort zone, to engage with a world he had consciously distanced himself from, and in doing so, offered him a new lens through which to view his own enduring resilience. This transformative experience highlights that genuine progress isn't solely about technological advancement, but about how those advancements can be leveraged to foster deeper human connection and expand individual horizons, even for those who seem perfectly content within their established spheres. It reminds us that every life, no matter how outwardly unassuming, holds a unique story,